with Lieutenant Regina Williams, who heads up our Special Victim Section, and Detective Juan Barnes from the New Orleans Police Department, also working with Crime Stoppers. At 7:03 this morning, we received a call from 3144 North Rampart. The call came in from the resident who actually lives at that location, who told us over the phone that he had stabbed and suffocated his 18-month-old child. He told us that he had done that earlier in the night and that some hours had passed, but he told us that he had stabbed the child, and to put the child out the misery, he suffocated the child until the child expired. He gave a description of that child, gave a description of himself, told us where the child would be and that he would be standing outside. When our first officers arrived at the scene this morning, they encountered Mr. Mark Hambrick, born 12/8 of 71, standing outside of the residence, 3144 North Rampart Street. He was taken into custody by our first responding officers without incident. They were able to enter the residence without incident, and there our officers observed the 18-month-old with apparent stab wounds, multiple stab wounds, lying unresponsive on the bed. The apparent murder weapon, as described by Mr. Hambrick, was also in close proximity. He was immediately arrested, advised of his Miranda rights, and it is my understanding now that in an interview, Mr. Hambrick has outlined and laid out all the details of how he committed this heinous, gruesome act to his own child. He was alone in the home with the child, and so this is a contained scene. He is under arrest. This has nothing to do with this neighborhood or this community, but he has laid out all the details of how he did that. Of course, we're not going to reveal that right now, but he is under arrest. He has given a statement. We are, of course, searching for any and all evidence that could be related to this incident. We're looking for anyone who has information about Mr. Hambrick to give us a call or call Crime Stoppers at 822-1111. So right now, the lead investigation unit is the Special Victim Section headed up by Lieutenant Regina Williams. And as you see, the scene is being processed right behind us as we speak. So this is certainly a gruesome scene. It's extremely tragic. A mother, because he was married, has been in contact, has now lost a baby, and now has lost a husband. And so our thoughts and our prayers are with this mother and the rest of this family while they undergo this time of grief. And so our officers are here, and certainly this is tragic for us as well to see this, but our officers are very professional, they're very poised, and they are handling this with as much dignity and tact as possible. So at this time, I'll take any questions you might have.
Did he indicate why?
Any indication as to why he did what he did?
He gave us some details, but simply put, he told us over the phone that God made him do it.
Did he have a history of mental illness?
We do not know that. Certainly, we can reasonably suspect that that is the case, but that's a medical diagnosis for a doctor. We went through a sequence of questions to keep him on the phone. He acknowledged and claimed that he did not when we asked him those questions. But certainly, that's a medical diagnosis. But he claimed that he did not.
Do you suspect any drug use by the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator ahead of the...
That's unknown right now. I'll leave that to the detectives conducting the interview to be able to ascertain whether he was speaking with any clarity of mind and was sober. I was not part of the interview. We reasonably suspect they're either mental illness or drug abuse or a combination of both.
Was the couple estranged? Were there tensions between them?
That's unknown at this time. That's all part of the investigation. They were married. The mother was working out of town, and he had the child at the moment. And so this actually happened earlier during the night, and he called us at 7:03. So a few hours had passed between the time he claimed he actually committed this gruesome act and the time he actually called us. But he laid out all the details, gave us a description of himself, a description of the baby, and where the baby would be, where he would be. And when we arrived, it was like he said he was on the porch. He was arrested, taken into custody without incident. We went into the house without incident. We did not have to make any dynamic entries. And there we encountered the baby, tried to render aid, but the baby was unresponsive. And so now we just ask the community to keep this mother and the rest of this family in their thoughts and prayers.
Can you elaborate on the weapon that was used?
To my knowledge, it was a knife of some sort. But then, as he claimed, which we will, through autopsy, be able to ascertain, he claimed to have strangled the baby as well, suffocated the baby as well.
Did the officers describe his emotional state when he was sitting there on the porch or while he was on the phone?
He was apparently waiting for us. They did not describe it, but because he did not resist and because he told us he would be waiting, certainly that speaks to his mental state, that we can reasonably suspect that that's not normal, that is absolutely not normal. So once again, this is tragic, especially for this family, especially on the day when we're coming together as a community so citizens can take the lead in the fight against crime, and this is the highlight of the community policing philosophy, the Night Out Against Crime. But certainly, this is one of the most tragic things, excuse me, any officer can see or investigate. And so we want to make sure our investigators have the tools and resources they need to be able to get through this investigation and be able to stay really, really focused.
Do you have a little girl's name?
We're not releasing the child's name right now because there's certainly other family members that probably need to be located, but it was a female baby.
Cecile Thibault was on the scene. Can you describe her role?
She's here to offer resources and comfort to both the officers investigating this, the employees on the scene, and family members who are here. We certainly would make those resources available to any family members, any neighbors or friends who are here who may be suffering from grief. And so that's the Office of Officer Wellness Program, and she heads that up, does a great job. And so, we're affected by these things as well sometimes. And sometimes it makes it hard to process these scenes because this is, emotionally damaging, not just to the family, but sometimes to us when we see them. And so we're here to make sure our officers can stay really focused, but we offer help to anyone in this family or in this community that needs that help as well.
And you said the mother has been notified.
She has been notified and, to my knowledge, is en route.
This is a tragic case. It's obviously been some difficult days for the NOPD. Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
It's been difficult days for NOPD, but we're resilient. We have the best officers in America. We're strong. We can grieve and serve at the same time. We've done it before, and we will certainly do it again. And I couldn't be more proud of the men and women of this police department who rise to the occasion every single time. And regardless of what life throws at us, what adversity comes toward us, our officers seem to rise up and overcome it by sticking together, making sure that we're together as a family, but also embracing the community who now is embracing us. And that's an important thing, and that helps us recover because the community is affected by the loss of our officer as well. And now we're all affected by the loss of an 18-month-old baby. Right? Thank you, guys.
Oh, yeah, handbrake. How do you spell that?
Handbrake.
HAMBR.